Hello, my name is George Grant, Technical Services Manager with Griffin's GGS Pro team. Today I'll be briefly talking to you about an easy-to-do strategy for checking injector output and fertilizer mixing accuracy. Injectors are very important pieces of equipment for applying fertilizers, sanitizers, and other pesticides, so it is important to follow any routine maintenance procedures recommended by the producer of your injector equipment. Today's video will show you how to perform an on-site check that your injector is working properly using electrical conductivity, or EC. This method is appropriate when wanting to check fertilizer output as well. There are various meters available on the market for measuring EC, or the amount of salts in a given solution. Here are two common instruments used in greenhouse production produced by Hanna on the left and Blue Lab on the right. Remember, when it comes to testing your injector's precision, using a reliable EC meter along with the correct procedure that we'll discuss are equally important. Checking fertilizer output from an injector is a quick multi-step process. Before performing these described steps, be sure you have a calibrated EC meter. You can use the instructions provided in the meter's manual. Please reach out to GGS Pro if needing assistance in doing so. Once we have calibrated the meter, we can then set our fertilizer injector to our desired injection rate. 1 to 100 is the most common injection rate for most growers. We will then mix up a small amount of our fertilizer in a stock tank at a given parts per million of nitrogen, such as 200 parts per million. We can then do this by using the information on the fertilizer label. Please reach out to GGS Pro if you need assistance with fertilizer calculations. Once we've completed preparatory steps, we can then begin the above testing strategy. Essentially, we will test the EC of your clear water without fertilizer. This may range from 0.0 to 1.0 or even higher, depending on the starting water's quality. We'll then turn on your injector and pass fertilizer through our irrigation lines or watering hose. Collect a small sample of fertilizer water from a dripper or hose and measure that EC. We now have all the information we need to check our injector's output. Here's a scenario that we can use to describe the proper steps. We have a clear water EC of 0.41. Our fertilizer water EC collected from the hose or dripper is 1.70. We then subtract 0.41 from 1.70 to equal 1.29. In this scenario, we mixed up a stock tank of 20-10-20 at 200 parts per million of nitrogen. We can refer to our fertilizer label as shown in the top right-hand corner to verify that the EC should be at this rate for this particular fertilizer. The correct EC for 200 parts per million of nitrogen using 20-10-20 should be 1.29. Based on this information, our injector is injecting the correct amount of fertilizer and is working properly. Injectors can and will vary in injection rate over time, so it is imprudent to conduct this procedure at least 1 to 2 times per season. Large variations in your measured EC compared to what is provided on your fertilizer label may indicate that your injector needs to be recalibrated or maintained. It is surprisingly not uncommon for growers to be fertilizing too much or too little due to human or instrument error. Here are some of the reasons this can occur. Because fertilizer is generally a solid, we need to measure it out by weight and not volume. All the measurements on a solid-based, water-soluble fertilizer label should be given in weight measurements such as grams or pounds. We need to remember to consider all of our inputs and how they influence EC readings such as Epsom salts. Be sure to subtract this from your fertilizer's EC. In general, 2 ounces per 100 gallons or 2 ounces per gallon at 1 to 100 of Epsom salts imparts 0.1 EC. As previously mentioned, making sure your meter is reliable and calibrated before conducting this procedure is essential. We cannot stress the importance of keeping an eye on injector equipment throughout the season. Overfeeding or over-applying pesticides can be money wasted or even cause harm to your crop. Underfeeding or under-applying pesticides can lead to slow-growing material or a decrease in chemical efficacy. Thank you for taking the time to watch this presentation. Hopefully this has provided you with the steps you need to perform a quick and relatively accurate way to check that your injector is working properly, and also that you're mixing up fertilizer correctly. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to GGS Pro or your local Griffin sales rep as needed. Thank you. Have a great day.